You want to grab
That
it?
was the plan. If you could.
Hang on.
Volcanic caldera bid. So I said, I'm just going to go down the lake. I'll catch you there. Start of a new day. I'm trying to have a good attitude today.
All right, I guess I'll see you at Port Orford.
In the last episode, Richard and I split up after a hard day of riding the trail. We met back up in Prineville that afternoon and continued south down into the Deschutes National Forest to camp on a volcano. This is the second half of that day. The road south out of Prineville was wonderful. Running along a river, it was paved, but it was also part of the Tat. Not really sure why Richard had come apart every time I chose to bypass any sections. Dirt roads, paved roads, it did not really make that much difference to me. Riding a motorcycle was my primary goal. Sticking to the trail was not. We had even discussed this major detail several times before we left. Every time the topic of bypassing sections came up, Richard responded with, "It's a concept." Clearly, it was a concept that I did not understand. In the last episode, I even mentioned that the split path we took was the first time in several weeks we had been apart, and that is a long time for me to spend with anyone. The only time we were apart up to this point was when we were taking a shit. Think about that. This day was not over yet. We still had a few challenging dirt trails to conquer before the end of the day.
Biden has certainly lost his charm. I hate to say it. But when you're no longer interested in riding with the guy that you've been riding with across country, it just really takes me out. It's beautiful out here. Roads are fun. The pavement was freaking extraordinary today. 5 speed gravel road. You got up to about 7 inches. It's like, gotta try to keep in mind, what would I be doing if I wasn't riding? That's the hard thing to just try to keep that in mind. It's like, I could say fuck it and go home, but then what? I'd be sitting in the hot summer humidity of Alabama till I figured out something else to do.
Before leaving Prineville, Richard and I had discussed staying at one of the campgrounds on the river on the way on the Tat. But as we passed each one, it was still quite early and still very hot in the canyon. So we decided to try our luck at a higher altitude and the cooler weather on top of Paulina Peak, the highest point of Newberry Volcano, a large, active stratovolcano. This thing is massive. It covers an area the size of Rhode Island and has erupted repeatedly over the past 400,000 years. The most recent eruption at Newberry was about 1,300 years ago, and it produced explosive plumes of tephra that can be found to the east as far as Idaho. The rhyolite lava it is spewing out now is very explosive and causes destructive eruptions like Mount St. Helens. Think about that one.
Shit.
As we rolled into the Deschutes, the route became very difficult to follow. The forest roads were crisscrossed with dozens and dozens of intersections that looked to be OHV trails, or at least only slightly bigger than single track.
Deep fucking sand here.
It took us quite some time to navigate through this maze because the route simply diverged off the forest roads and onto trails. A bit random, but one of the trails turned out to be very unique and interesting.
They can see with us. So you can compress and decompress. You can't do that with your ass. But you can't do it as well. Some people gotta cheat the ass, I know.
This little two-track trail consisted of small hills and dips with wide, deep whoops that were a blast. You really needed concentration, focus, and a good amount of energy to stay on top of the bike through this sandy section. You can see as my body bobs back and forth on the bike as I am on the foot pegs. This is a lot of work. Luckily, I had a bit of energy left even after riding for most of the day. The video really does not do these dips and whoops justice. It makes everything look flat, which they were not. These were pretty deep and wide ruts and whoops. They were a lot of fun, but not to be taken lightly. My energy was not to last much longer, as this trail was taking the juice out of me fast. I think the same could be said about Richard, who was not far behind me.
Ha! That's a little spicy.
Interesting trail.
Even back on the wider trails, they might look like roads, but they were only wider and relatively flat. Just another wide section in the maze of an OHV play area known as Groundhog. I guess the wider sections are the arteries needed to get broken riders and broken play buggies out of the forest after they smash into trees or each other. Luckily, we only saw one other vehicle out here. Glad we got through here on a Friday evening before we had to dodge the drunken locals in their cages of destruction. Whew! After several dead ends, missed turns, and turnarounds, it finally happened.
Kind of hard to tell on this one too.
Wait a second.
And grab it anything when I get it up off the ground. That'll help me. I think just get any kind of another bite on it.
I give you a suggestion on picking it up at this angle. Use the pick it up from here. That's right there. That's where you're gonna get your leverage.
Yep.
If you want to grab
That
it.
was the plan. If you could. Hang on. Got it?
I got it.
Just hold it.
Ain't going nowhere. I still got it. You got it?
I got it.
It's nasty. Find a shady spot and sit in it for a few minutes.
No, let's keep it. This is stupid.
You see a spot you want to pull over and camp, we'll pull over.
Come up to the volcano.
May have flooded out.
Oddly, this was the first time the Tenere has given me any problem starting. Perhaps it was tired just like me. I know it had been a long day, and this is the time of day when I don't like to ride. I had a buddy tell me years ago, sundowner syndrome. You get tired as the sun starts going down, or just the fact that you've been riding all day. It's a dangerous time to ride. It's when all your mistakes happen, towards the end of the day. Maybe it's got something to do with the sun being in your eyes. And clearly, we were not out of the woods yet, either literally or figuratively. It's a good thing we both had GPS, because if you didn't have GPS in this part of the world, I think it would be really easy to get lost, because everything seems to look the same.
Direction to direct the fucking track.
Back that way a little bit, maybe?
You've got orange dirt roads, and you've got grayish white dirt roads. And I think the orange is probably the only thing that doesn't really fit. But it took us a little bit before we started turning up the mountain, and then it was a nice long climb up the mountain and getting into camp. And finding a campsite was pretty quick. We were just below the peak here. Even though we were above 7,000 feet, I found it really odd, the insects, the number of insects up here. There was mosquitoes and hundreds and thousands of ants that crawled over everything. They were big black ants, but it was a little bit disconcerting to take off your shoes and have ants crawling all over your feet before you could get up into your hammock. Just really odd. Something I'll never forget.
Damn. Just think, we could have been down the street with the campers, and we could hear them even better than we hear them now.
When I go camping, I like to get as far away from other people as I possibly can, because I have found when other people go into the woods, they kind of lose their mind. I'm not sure what it is, but they think that they own the forest or the desert or wherever they are, and we'd passed a few toy haulers on the way up, and they were loud as we passed them, and they were even louder. I think we were a few hundred yards up the hill from them, and I'm glad we got far enough away from them. This seemed like a pretty nice spot. It's relatively flat, so Richard could throw out his tent. I think he really liked his tent more than he liked his hammock. But of course, I'm a hammock camper. I don't like being on the ground unless I absolutely have no choice. If there's no trees, it's hard to hang a hammock. I've tried it hanging it to a motorcycle, in between a motorcycle and a fence, and it worked for a couple of hours. But I weigh 300 pounds, and it's not hard for me to pull a motorcycle over bouncing around in a hammock. But it was a nice, cool night, and I was glad to be at elevation and out of the heat.
Outside of Prineville, headed to Port Orford. I'm done with these fucking updates. I give a shit anymore. That's how I feel about it. Peace.
We're at Paulina Lake, which is a volcanic caldera, collapsed volcanic caldera. Now it's full of water. I wanted to shoot some drone video this morning, but it seemed like Richard wanted to get up and go, so he started packing. I started packing. I got ready earlier, faster than he did. So I said, I'm just going to go down the lake. I'll catch you there. Do my drone shots. Maybe I'll be done by the time he gets here. Maybe not. But start of a new day. I'm trying to have a good attitude today. But not taking any shit either. So hope that fucking screaming fucking 8-year-old girl doesn't come out again today, because I won't be hanging out with an 8-year-old girl today. Steven from Washington State coming down, so maybe that'll add a little bit of a cooling compound to our destructive relationship and our journey. Hopefully we can start having some more fun. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to fucking win any prizes, to stick to any paths. The goal is to ride the Transamerica Trail, but I was very fucking clear when I asked the question, is it essential that we stay on the trail? What about bypasses? What about things that are not fun? And Richard was very clear in his answer when he said, it's a concept. It's an idea. And he said it several times, and he even said it on video, I think. I think we did a live stream where he said it's a concept. And that to me meant, hey, as long as we're having fun, staying on the Transamerica Trail, let's stay on the Transamerica Trail. And that stopped happening for me in the paint shaker yesterday. 2.5 hours holding on to a paint shaker was not fucking fun. And I was done. I was tired. And I even dropped my bike up here, hurt my freaking, fucked up my knee and my hip as a result, because we're doing something that's not fun. And I was tired. And, that's the shit I wanted to avoid. And I was very clear, and Richard was very clear. But something in the meantime has changed. Something has changed in Richard. I don't know what it is. Chemistry, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. But I've pretty much had enough of it. Hopefully we're nearing the end of our journey. But I'll be damned if I'm going to keep not having fun every day. Fuck that shit. I won't be screamed at. I already told him he's going to lose some fucking teeth if he keeps doing that shit. So, anyway, let's go fly a drone.
Well, maybe you'll see this, maybe you won't. I don't know. You missed a turn. I don't know if you're riding your own ride today or not. You've been riding your own ride since we fucking left. You're not gonna like me saying that. I can't tell you that because you say anything to you, you get argumentative and you put it back on people. And at this fucking point, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna wait here for about 15 minutes, and if you don't come back, I'm gonna take the route because I don't know what else to fucking do. I really don't. Fucking skipped half of fucking Iowa and you got a misconception or I don't know your story about we just got no we didn't. You fuck no you no we didn't. We didn't discuss that. Your question to me was, what's the plan? I said, get back on the trail and ride. You said, yeah, but what's the plan? I said, I need tires, so I guess Boise. We'll stop at Boise. Then you said, oh, I'm not doubling back. It's just desert. We'll take 130. And I assumed that we were going to go catch the trail, but no, we didn't. We passed right past it. Now, you said we weren't close to it, but I remember going through Twin Falls. Brandon remembers going through Twin Falls, but we passed it. And when I tried to tell you on the headset 4 times, I got the Laurel and Hardy routine. Can't hear you. So off you went. We kept on going down that road. So we did miss quite a bit of that because you didn't want to ride the desert because you said it was all desert. But you don't know shit about fucking Idaho out there. I've ridden it. You hadn't it. And I was mad about missing that. And then yesterday, the roads, man, best rides I've had. I enjoyed yesterday tremendously. The roads were great. Yeah, they were a little difficult, spicy, but you were in a bad mood because you drank beer the night before, you were dehydrated, you've been eating shit fucking food, you woke up in a shit fucking attitude. You picked at me multiple times that morning till I finally had to say, hey man, you trying to piss me off? And then we got down the road and you decided to take your own trip. Oh man, I'm going this way. You didn't ask me if I was wanting to reroute. You just started to reroute and took off and did your own fucking thing. So I don't know if you're doing your own fucking thing right now. Maybe you went down that road. It sounds like you're coming back. I didn't see you go down that road. So here I'm going to sit and wait. And hopefully you'll show back up. If not, I guess I'll see you at Port Orford. Nope, that's a truck coming up. So, about out of battery, so that's going to be the end of my fucking story. Hopefully I'll catch up with you in La Pine. So I'm going to get back on the road here in 10 minutes. Peace.
It's all been in vain. The fellowship has failed.
What if we hold true to each other? Not while we have strength left.
Let's go to Port Orford.
Still got a little bit of battery. I stopped in this spot. This is the spot that me and Brandon stopped at. Get a little shade once before. And I really enjoyed it. I don't know how much battery I've got left. I figured I would share this. I don't know if this will ever get seen. Who cares at this point? But I'm going to leave it on here. What a fantabulous day of riding I had today. Best fucking riding day I've had the entire fucking trip. I wish I didn't have to sit and have all this stuff in my headspace right now, but that's what it is. You know, anybody that's ridden Oregon, and for that fact, Idaho, knows how great it is. I'm really sad that I had to miss half of Idaho. Whatever bullshit story gets passed off on that, that's great and wonderful. I don't care. I know the truth. I lived it. I won't walk away from my truth on that at all. And I also rode the TAT to this spot. All day long. Perfect fucking roads. Perfect fucking roads. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's exactly what I wanted out of this trip. And as sad as I am that the partnership came to an end, I'm fucking glad it came to an end. Because the truth will never come out. I'll always be the bad guy. Everybody else will always be the bad guy. But I tell you what, I'm not. I'm the guy that got to see all this. not the bad guy that rode asphalt on the Transamerica Trail every fucking opportunity they got. So I'm going to leave this on there. Air it if you want to air it. Don't really care. I've said all I could say before. I tried to have a conversation. There is no conversation to be had. At least you got the fucking drama that you want. But that's the way I guess it's going to end. But hey, look at all this fucking great and wonderful mountains that I got to ride today. I hope you got to do the same thing. I really do.
What will happen to our trail-weary travelers? Will they make it to Port Orford, or will they kill each other somewhere on the way? Stay tuned and find out.
So if you see me passing by, don't be shy. Wave hello or stop to say hi. I'm always down to chat, share the vibe. Motor Giants here, it's more than a ride.